previous event, we announced the next event, we announced it 1 month before, and the registration link is also launched shortly after. So we generally have 3 weeks at least for us to come to the event. Yes, sir. Sir? Yeah. So usually we have a long time between events, between the notice and the events will happen. But this time, because of Angel, we couldn't do the Tada trek last time. So I had already talked to Saravanan for a talk later in the year. So we had a couple of events planned for January and February. So I talked to him about March, April. So because we had to reschedule the Tada thing, I called him up and asked, are you available for the 3rd week of December? He said, next day he told me, yeah, I'm available. So that's how it happened. Immediately I floated the registration link. So still only 10 days was there between that time and this. I also wanted to quickly talk about annual membership. We talked about that. So I also wanted to quickly talk about that. A lot of discussion in the WhatsApp group. Now that we are there, and after the discussion also, you can talk to me and EC members are also there. You can talk to us. And Anand from Sundaram MF sponsored 2 events, and Magesh, all of these people have been never approached for sponsorship. It all came to us. Tana said so it just came to us. Despite that, we had a deficit of 1,09,000 for the past 6 months. So we said, I, as a president, didn't want to be the person eating into the, our corpus funds. We have a good cause. We can run like this for another few years, definitely. But I didn't want to deficit.
Qualification, 1,000 rupees registration has to be kept forever. Okay, that is not a lot of money. Yeah. Okay, so don't even consider that you are a lot of money now.
Yeah. So, I mean, 1 lakh deficit we can run for a few years is what I meant. So we took a call. The next 15 months we said we want to do. We thought about expenses. 6 lakhs is the projected expenses for this next 15 months. So we said at least we can, if we continue raising 50% of the funds from sponsors, we need to get out 3 lakhs from members, either as annual members or as event fee. So that was the rationale, and we looked at a couple of associations that are collecting annual fee. Hyderabad chapter is doing about 12K per annum. They're promising about it will be Aniket sitting here. He's a ornithologist by interest. He's very much interested in ornithology. He knows every bird.
Not
a lot of us know other birds, but we don't know these birds that he knows. He knows by name, by the sound and everything. He can identify a bird and everything. He's going to guide us to. We're going to do a walk at Vedantangal. We would want you to carpool there. More from an environment sense. When is this? January 5th. January 5th. We have planned for January 4th. Raj's memorial is planned on January 4th. We shifted it to the Sunday. 1st is Saturday. 4th is a Saturday. 5th is a Sunday. So it will be a morning walk. I hear birds are more active in the morning. So it should be better if we go to. And also with the weather, it's better if we do it in the early morning. It's better.
Early morning, right?
Early morning. We will, if required, there were some alumni who said common transport is better. I also appreciate it from an environment standpoint. We don't want to do too much of carbon emissions by going all with individual cars, and a lot of us use drivers, so it will be that many less drivers use that day, so they can have their time. If we will open the registration link tomorrow itself, so do let us know about your convenience. We will ask about carpooling and common transport also there. Based on interest, we will arrange.
If we do common transport, we once did a trip to ISRO.
Yes.
Together.
Right.
It was a good trip.
Yes.
We went together in a 14-seater or something like that.
Yes.
It makes much more sense.
We could do that. It's also better if 12 people go in one vehicle. That
It makes sense to just decide. Rather
Just
than
go ahead.
leave this to the everybody.
Don't ask.
Because again, there will be divided opinion. You guys decide and say this is what it is.
You
If
have
somebody
to-
wants to bring their own car, it's okay. But
Want they can do that.
Right, even if it is one car, I suggest do carpooling because
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
4 people come in one car,
No, that is fine.
you are cutting carbon emissions by 1/4.
Sundar,
Right? So,
I think he's got a valid point. Say you'll have one common transport, starting from here, going there, let's say Adyar, for instance, not that I have any preference. Say 20 people will be accommodated, rest are suggested to carpool and direct.
Yeah. First come, first served.
Serious, I mean, yeah, give baseline ye hai karke, just put it. Otherwise, if you say then one discussion will happen.
yeah.
yeah, rest of you can come directly, we'll do that.
And strict, whatever.
we are planning
Strongly urge you to do carpooling.
My suggestion is for us to carpool at or if the common transport also start from India Urban Square. You can park your car there and then come on the common transport and then we will go from there. So that's the better option. We propose that in this thing. So also becomes much better when it is a smaller group. Also, that's another benefit. I was sitting somebody there. Now we calling cake, coffee, tea, and whatever we have from the can only. So that is good. And about Saran, we have been interacting for other things a little bit. So he's one person that I have felt that I never wasted even a minute. He values his time. He values others' time. None of the topics, never it veers from whatever the agenda of that meeting was. It stays on the topic, it is very focused, it is very clear. And the moment we talked about initial discussion, he told about this IDRX company and all that, I immediately said, can we have you talk to us about this? I have a lot of expectations from today. I know some of it, I'm sure everyone will get to hear a little bit more. So without further ado, I ask Saran to continue the discussion.
Great, thanks. So now that we have already introduced, I am Saravanan. I'm very happy to meet all the veterans in the industry from different fields. And as she was telling, when I see somebody PGP 75 or 78, I was born on 75. So
That's true, I saw some
definitely, like, one thing which I really appreciate and which I kind of is surprised in the initial days of interacting with this. What kind of energy people have at this age is very high and was very surprising for me. Because many people keep saying that you are not working hard, etc. But I get the feeling of getting grounded when I see many people like that's which I'm very happy about being a part of this. So what I intend to discuss today is, of course, like my background and what problem we feel that it's a good problem to solve from a company perspective. What we have done so far, what are the hiccups we face, some pivots we do, and what we have learned and what we are trying to learn. That is what I have in mind. But more than that, I would like to understand, like, is there any other aspect which is of interest to you, so that like we can have a discussion about that also. Is there any particular aspect of that you will be interested?
No, I think to get started with your story.
I think people would like to know about your company, what it does.
Sure.
We'll start from there.
Definitely, any point of time should your questions, I'm more than happy to share my experience on that. So basically, I started my career in technology. I was previously it was Satyam at that point of time. And then I moved to supply chain. I was working with Volvo customers in Sweden. And then I moved to healthcare when I was working with EDS in the US. So typically my forte has been like supply chain technology and healthcare. And last 15 years I have been an entrepreneur focusing on healthcare in India. And I believe that any technology is only as good as the size of business benefit it generates, right? Okay, that is the key factor. Whether it's an iPhone or an Audi or a Tesla, the greatness of the technology is measured by what kind of impact it creates. So, as a company, we always focus on there are all great things happening in the technology field of it, but how can I leverage it to create business value? Can be for a corporation, can be for an individual, can be for a society, is what we focus on. And that's how we design our services or our product or how we package it. This is what we do. And so, going back, 15 years back, we started the company called IIM Technologies, and now she's also CEO of that company. And me, along with my co-founder, we are 800 people strong now, and I would like to give her the chance to talk about it a lot, maybe at another juncture.
No, we can do that. Great, yeah,
Sure.
later.
So one piece of it I would like to share about it. So we have something called an entrepreneur in-house program. So we encourage many of our employees to pursue their entrepreneurial aspiration. Okay, so right from sometimes we even seed the ideas. Like, so you have the capability, you have the interest, you have a specific specialty, and we find a market need for a specific product, we encourage them to do that. Or sometimes they come up with an idea, and we say like, we give our inputs and we find a good fit. We give them the technology support, we give them the GTM support or whatever they need. Maybe even seed capital to help them to go towards that. So from that we have got almost 10 companies as of today, and which are of different sizes. So the biggest company which has come out of the field is like they have raised CDC fund, okay. And the smallest is like somebody wanted to run a cafeteria. We said like, fine, you run the cafeteria. So the idea is all the co-founders in our company started from a middle class background into technology, but we like the others to become entrepreneurs. So if you can help others to do this, and we really enjoy it. It doesn't mean a roller coaster, ups and downs are always there, but still we love it, we like it, right? So we also want to help others. They have the interest to do that. So one such company is IdeaX, which currently I head the IdeaX. So what IdeaX, what we do is, we enable the hospitals to increase their profitability. That's the one line of what we do. So there are like 50,000 hospitals, private hospitals in India.
How many?
50,000.
50.
50. Out of which maximum 15% is run by professional management. The rest all is either the doctor who does the management, or we have some glorified admin who does that. Okay? So obviously the level of efficiency they have is challenging. Even the bigger hospitals where they have a professional management, so they have a lot of handicaps in terms of technology, data, manpower, and all the stuff towards them. On the other side, what is happening is all these hospitals are facing a lot of challenges because insurance companies are squeezing their profitability to a large extent, because the penetration of insurance in the personal health care has become more, and now they are negotiating very aggressively with the hospitals. And also the government is coming up with a lot more compliance requirements that providing the services has become costly. And the third part is patients are now expecting, well, there's a lot of competition, etc. towards that. So it is very difficult for the hospitals to make money how they used to. On the other side of it, for general public, the cost of healthcare has become very high because of lifestyle diseases, all those things. More number of people are becoming sick, people are becoming more sick, and more number of people are declared sick. Okay, so a person with a specific level of sugar was not diabetic 10 years back, but now he is said that he is diabetic, right? So when all these things starts happening, for a patient or for a general population, they have to cough up a lot more money towards it. So that's a very big challenge, both on the provider side of it as well as on the consumer side of it. Okay, so we believe that if we leverage technology to ensure that the profitability also increases, while the affordability for the patient also increases. So we have been deliberating on a lot of stuff. As long as the profitability for institution increases, we believe that since the competition is already there in the industry, a part of the profit will percolate to the consumers. Okay, and we have seen that happen. We have seen that practically happening. And so this is another nutshell. So how we do that? In a hospital, typically pharmacy is the biggest line of revenue, both top line as well as bottom line. So when we focus on pharmacy and we are easily able to increase the profit by say 10 to 15% with our customers. When that happens, the impact for a hospital overall is currently say hospital which is doing 500 crore of annual turnover, the EBITDA will be around 15%. And their valuation is around 20x of their EBITDA, given all other parameters to water. So they are usually valued at 1,500 crores. Now, with the impact what we were able to create on the top line as well as bottom line, the valuation can be increased by 250 crore. It's very huge. And not only on the valuation part also, it's also increases the cash flow because it's not some asset which is getting created and the valuation increases. The cash flow also, the cash profit also keeps increasing. So this is the size of impact which we are able to create for the hospitals.
What will be the EBITDA margin in the pharmacy line?
So that will be around 50 to 50%. So that's
With
the
the-
gross margin for that. So if you take like 10% of this, 40% is the
EBITDA of
EBITDA of pharmacy. When there's an inpatient and outpatient put together. If it is only a OP pharmacy, right, that's around like 15%. Not much on that side of it.
Like typically if you see Noble as a chain or if you look at Apollo as a
Yeah.
standalone vertical, they're not like that profitable.
So he was asking on the pharmacy line of business.
No, I'm saying only pharmacy. If I look at Apollo Pharmacy in their P&L, it's not as if it's showing 50%
Correct.
EBITDA.
So this is what I was explaining. When you look at the consolidation of IP pharmacy and OP pharmacy in Apollo Hospital,
Then it will be
They
like
are
kind
at
of a, yeah.
typically orals, the tablets and the tonics, it's only 25% gross margin for any pharmacy chain, be it MedPlus or something, unless otherwise they go into generic further. So Apollo pharmacy monitor whether the recommendation, whether the issues, then a monitoring mechanism for the management to ensure that it is being done. Is the 360-degree overview of what we are kind of doing towards it. And the other aspect is, of course, how efficient is the staff, how efficient is the inventory management. You will be amazed to know, in the OT, the operation theatre, 18% of the times, the surgeons use something different than what they want to use because of the availability. Availability and non-availability.
Gives me a lot of confidence while going to a hospital.
So sometimes when you know more about how hospitals work, it is challenging for them. Okay, they will do something else. The impact is instead of 3 days of recovery, he will be there for one day. It's cost for the hospital, more probability of getting a hospital acquired infection. There's too much which can happen on that segment. Okay, so that what comes to.
So if I look at it purely from an FMCG lens, you are saying 20% out of stock, OOS what we call, in the OT, for the
Yeah.
OT people,
Yeah.
20% OOS.
Exactly. That is it. And patients die. This sorbitol is like 2 rupees. Okay. But it's not a regular medicine. But when they need on an emergency call, then what next? So much things that happen.
Sometimes you keep it in a
Very common, I know.
Very common. Okay, but in a crash car, it's not regularly used. It's not regularly sold. So nobody. People make mistakes in checking the inventory. That kind of thing. Right? So then the decision making part of it. How easy is it for the management to take the decision? So one is formulary, sales efficiency, purchase efficiency, inventory levels, staff and decision making. These are the 6 areas which we enable the hospital to do this exercise on a better way. Now the biggest challenge in doing this. So it's a no-brainer. When I go and say, I help your hospital to increase your profit, you don't make any investment, you pay me 25% of what I help you to save or make more money. We thought that people are going to give a red carpet. It didn't happen. So the major problem is here the beneficiaries of such of a project, and the actual people who have to execute are different. So the beneficiaries are the management and the owner. While the people who have to execute is a pharmacist, a nurse, a pharmacy, a purchaser, not even a consultant. Because they have their own whims and fancies, and they have their own interests. Okay. So a lot of issues are started happening, and then we started fine tuning. Okay, so if you look at an item, whether it is going to use by a surgeon or a duty doctor or a paramedical staff, very differently. Whether it is going to go into a patient or whether it's going to be outside this thing. What kind of people, how certain things, all of us are very aware about brands. Certain things we don't even know or we don't care about it. So all those things we started finding and we identified that focus only on a subset of items where the change management is less troublesome. If they do everything what is possible, we are looking at 25% gross margin optimization. But then you take away all those high irritation points, etc. It usually comes down to 10 to 12% is what they are able to make on this. Okay. And what also happens is many times the hospital owners are not very confident about their control on the staff. Okay, because there is no proper HR system to train people or to recruit people. So obviously they say fine, I know that I'm making 50% margin, 10% margin I can make. Still, I don't want to get involved into that. So that's a chance again we used to, it has to be very high. But now that we have fine-tuned our services to go in areas where it is not that troublesome for them, it has become better. But still, we kind of keep continuing with that. And this is the version of what we are now. So last 2 years have been great for us because customers are extending their engagement with us. So usually who signed up for 1 year, 2 years, now they have started extending their engagement. So that means that it is working for them. They are happy with that, they are able to rate as a benefit. And we have also become profitable. Okay, so last 1 year we are profitable. So obviously when we started before this, because we are focusing more on the purchasing part of it. So we said I will run a GPO for you. I will help you to purchase an item at a cheaper price. Obviously taking out the inefficiency, the bribe and all the stuff and the volume. Yeah. It was doing decently good, but the level of inefficiency and corruption right from the national level leaders of pharmacy companies till owners of very big hospitals, everybody is kind of not clean-handed because everybody has been pleased at all. And so when we fight all those things and make it happen, the level of impact also was not that high. When the COVID came, it taught us a lot of stuff, and it also gave us an opportunity to pivot. Okay, because we wanted to get out of operations and focus more on technology and more on asset-light model. And this is how we started having this. So the second pivot was, we said 20% we will focus on enabling you to purchase, 80% on consulting. We will help you, we will advise you to do all those things. In the last pivot, we have completely stopped any kind of operations to manage their operation purchase, etc. We have stopped doing that. And our consulting side also we have reduced it to 20% what we used to do, and 80% now is more of technology and data. So the biggest benefit is now we are able to scale. Okay, because consulting price, as you know, definitely is very interesting. You have face-to-face contact and all that stuff, but scaling is difficult. Okay, but in this model, what we are doing, now we are able to scale. So we have customers in Hyderabad, we have customers in Coimbatore, we have customers in Bangalore, we have a couple of customers in Delhi. Still, we are able to go towards that. And the next line which we want to take it up is the TPs or the insurance companies, because hospitals are struggling and we see a big play for data in that, data analytics towards that. And that can also have a big impact on the cost of treatment for a patient as well as the benefit for the hospital, both in terms of their
cash as well as in terms of the profitability. So that's what we are looking on our next growth area. So any other aspect you would like to explore?
So this change management problem that you are talking about, where interests are not aligned in an existing organization, does it make sense for you to get some people who want to start now? We can explain the architecture to them and say, if you architect it like this, you will not have those problems that other stuff. Is that possible?
So definitely that is possible. Some challenges in that people in our business model, we always charge. One of the attractive things for our service packaging is I give you a delta and you pay me a part of it. For newer firms, there is no reference towards that. That's one small problem. The next problem is when they start, they have a lot of operational issues for the first 1 or 2 years. So they are more interested in solutions which can hear their operational problems. And once we get into the operational problems, it becomes very difficult for us to scale. So we kind of, but there are people who have already built, exited, and then they are starting another hospital there. This thing, they are kind of works. We work with one hospital like Renova. So they had they were a group of the name doesn't know. The previous venture, he had built a chain of 7 oncology hospitals in Hyderabad. He took an exit. There was a pool of paid. Now he has started another chain of hospital. So from day one, he is engaging us.
No, generally what I'm saying is people who are already profitable, they somehow don't get excited by more profits, and they are very worried about what your fee is. It's something you cannot explain it logically, but I've seen it happen very often. But if it is a regulatory problem, and if you are getting them out of it, like a lawyer, they are going to pay you any fee.
Correct. So I used to put in a little bit of way. People pay for insurance than lotteries. The fear, make them write the check immediately. And even in our current discussions, when we talk about profitability, control of inventory and all, surprisingly more people are responding to their inventory and cash flow problems. And when we talk about inventory, this thing, the difference can be up to 50%. Their papers show like 5 crore of stock, while physically they are looking at 2.5 crore of stock, and that 2.5 crore will be very different from what the items. So value itself is like very different. The items are very different. Okay, so it has been a very attractive thing for us. And one hospital, it's a Hindustan hospital in Coimbatore. After 1 year, I went and met him to get a feedback of how he sees us. And he says, Saravan, more than all the incredible profit you have given, now I am not worried about any hanky-panky things or any problems with the purchase of pharmacy. I feel assured that if something goes wrong, your team will come and tell me. That's the biggest benefit I am seeing, okay? And I will keep on working with you. So more of people are starting seeing us more of an internal auditor, which helps them from getting into trouble. Okay. Simple.
2 questions. See, unless you kind of understand the problems in the operation, how do you fine-tune your technology and system to solve the problem? Why is problem in operation? You see, this is the problem, and I'm not going to handle it. So this is supposed to facilitate. Whereas if you only focusing on technology, this problem will not be solved. And the second question is that though you do all the systems, what to order, what not to order, there is a kind of a linkage between the doctor and the pharmaceutical companies. What kind of freebie they give you, what kind of... Most of the doctors prescribe the medicine that where they get the maximum benefit from it. How do you tackle that in a system like this? Because you're saying that the doctor will still prescribe what he wants to prescribe.
Sure.
Because he gets benefit out of that. Then there are conflicts of interest in the whole system.
Definitely.
The third thing is, of course, the other one, which is ethics in the hospital, which is very different. I don't want to talk about it.
So, both are very valid points. And one, we have good expertise on the operations of the pharmacy, line of business. When I say it's not just the operations of a hospital pharmacy, but what happens on the distributor side, how they operate, what capabilities they have, what capabilities they don't have, and how the manager works. So one of our co-founders, he's one Mr. Agastini, he used to lead the central pharmacy purchases for Apollo. And he was also one of the key members of Sudiksha chain of pharmacies. He was a part of the chain from when there were 40 branches to 2,000 branches.
Oh, okay.
He was that. So we have the expertise of how the operations work. And that's how we define the protocol, we define the analytic systems to help all those things. But we don't do that operation. We don't get into the operation.
So you talk about that part.
Okay. So, but we have a very good handle on how those things work. Not only the hardware, but on the distributor side also, because any of the recommendations which you come up with, you are a technology tool which you come up with, if the hardware adopts it, still if the supply chain partner is not unable to do that, it's not going to work, right? So we have inculcated what is workable for us towards that. Say, for example, I'll give an example. Agarwal we implement the automatic GR. So previously every month the supply chain will say we owe the suppliers 10 crore. The finance team will say I owe them 3 crores. Because there are 200 branches, nobody will do a GR. Good system they will not do. When the consumer comes, they will cash be taken and use it. So when we did that, for this to work, the suppliers has to integrate. Obviously day one they didn't integrate, but when we told them this will help you to get your payment on time without much issues from Agarwal, they were more than happy to come because that's the pain point which we identified from their side. So then we started working on that. So the next question which you wanted to we talk about this. So there are like Maya, again for example, they have like 4,000 items in IIM pharmacy and mobile pharmacy. Certain things are influenced by surgeons. Nobody touches it. We don't want to touch it. Say implants, those kind of things we never get into that. Around 500 items out of the 4,000 is where the surgeon is not that specific to get involved. It's right from a paracetamol IV. He doesn't get into that. Use small pieces, give the patient a paracetamol IV. He will move on. It's the duty doctor or even maybe the nurses who administers that. So we have identified areas where most of the irritation points are kept out and do them. So that's how we kind of handle it. Because obviously the management cannot go against the surgeons, okay, and that is even patients, right? They blindly believe the doctor and they say like, give me the same brand without understanding that it's a tier 4 brand. Okay, but they say, no, you don't cheat me. I want the same brand. They feel smart, but it's what it happens. So we have kind of identified where it can be this thing.
What is the total money spent by this 50,000 companies? What is the total spent?
So the hospitals.
Okay, hospitals. Does it include the personal physicians?
50,000 hospitals. We focus on the pharmacy. So anywhere between 25 to 30% of the revenue.
What is it in rupees crores or dollars?
Okay. So the overall pharmacy business in India is around $4 billion. $4 billion. Out of that, 20 to 25% is the hospital-based pharmacy business.
Yeah.
The rest is
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
But so what would be the hospital's income if they consume $1 billion of drugs? How much would be the total billing of the hospital as a ratio?
Okay, so typically, I talk about the purchase as a $1 billion. What they purchase?
So
They
$1 billion
sell
would be
it at $2 billion. So because as I said,
Minimum.
50%, but minimum they are selling at $2 billion. The overall top line of a hospital will be anywhere between 3.5 times to 5 times of the pharmacy's top line.
so $10 billion.
Yeah,
Is the private hospitals?
private hospitals. I'm talking about the private hospitals.
Is the public hospitals, is it a bigger sector than the private hospitals or
In
almost the-
India, the government's public sector is very big because it's not just the hospitals in the government segment, right from vaccination to say the government is spending from a lady diagnosed with pregnancy.
Yeah, but the Ministry of Health budget is there, you know.
No, so everything is a part of the healthcare of the government, the public healthcare. But in terms of hospitals, 95% is still curative healthcare. It has not gone to preventive healthcare. So that's all. So you are about.
Who are your competitors? Your competitor in area was completely blank.
Who do different parts of what we do. So where Udaan was a competitor in terms of purchasing alone. So they said like I will purchase at a very high level, they will supply at a different level. That's one segment of it. Then there are consultants who just possess. They used to be an NA-based consultant or some process consultant. Even EY is currently doing it. They come and optimize the costing of hospital across, just not on the pharmacy side of it, and they have a success fee. Kind of, they do certain part of what we do, and there are pharmacy takeover. They say you are making 40% profit. You give over the pharmacy, I will give you 40% fixed. Let me run the pharmacy. So these are different formats. And the traditional distributor also used to be our competitor when we are buying and selling. But in the current format of what we are doing, and there are like online auction companies. So he comes, he says, you are buying all these things, I will run an auction for you, I will get you better price of it. That company focuses only on the purchase efficiency of it, while we focus on the profit efficiency of it. So, bits and pieces people do, but not the same way we are doing.
I have two questions. So first question is, who's your ideal, person to which you'll be selling? So I understand you'll be selling to the owners, but you need to have a champion. So who's the champion? Do you usually have a fight in these hospitals, or how do you communicate the value of this hospital?
So there are two parts. One, who takes the decisions and who drives it. Okay. Who takes the decision? Obviously, it can be somebody from the board or the owner or something like that. The person who will champion it is a person who has a P&L responsibility in the hospital. In unorganized sector, doctor is a P&L one, right? So he kind of drives it. Otherwise, if it's a hospital with a level of professionalism involved, there will be a pharmacy line of business here. Okay, so his care is to ensure that the pharmacy line of business gives him better profit. He will be the person who runs it. IT has very little role in that. Supply chain team has a role in that, because again supply team has to negotiate the purchase by supply chain team handles. The operations team handles the sales and sales part of it. They are execution people, but the champion is going to be some P&L owner. There are hospitals who are working with us at a group level. There are hospitals where only one unit head is working with us. The other hospitals, the other units are not. But this is, he was a very enterprising guy. He said like, you know, you can help me doing this, let me work with you. Yeah, that's all.
A follow-up to that. Okay, thanks for that wonderful explanation. So let's say earlier used to be in operations. So it'd be easy to communicate value because you're taking away a lot of hassle that used to be over there. But right now, since you're going to the pure software play, how are you going to communicate the value like going forward? Like till now, because you actually used to solve a problem, so people have confidence on you and they purchase the software. But since these people, I do understand they are non-technical, so just having some dashboards, so how are you able to convince the value? That's something I'd be very curious to
See,
understand.
here, the easiest part is showing measurements. The business benefit is very tangible. Simple, when we sign an MOU, we take the last 3 months of the purchase and sales data and say you have get 50%. The finance manager can verify it. Okay. Once we start working, the next 3 months, if you take that sales and this report, easily they can verify. So, proving the value created is very simple here. Okay. And we don't project ourselves as a software. Okay. We project that like we are a service partner. We use these softwares to provide that service. Okay. Still, there is an account manager who understands how hospital works. He meets the bigger clients once in every month. He goes and he tells the whole dashboard and say like this is what is happening, this is what is happening and all that stuff. And immediately he will say like, let me call. And what happens is, say 2 branches are not performing well. one branch it is because of corruption, the other branch is because of inefficiency. It can be right. From the data the experts will be able to tell, understand, and we advise the doctor. You please help him. You have to find this guy. Till this guy is there, you are going to have. So the hospital sees it. They don't see it as a software platform. He sees it as a. So the thing is, profitability partners is what we position ourselves into that.
Nice, thanks.
So what was it like to, now you have a few years of experience, the value proposition is very, very clear. What was it like in the early stages? What was it like to get the first customer, first 5 customers? Can you just talk a little bit about the journey of that and how do you go about convincing somebody that you are doing that? And I understand the offering was a little bit different, right? You had no consulting. If you can give the context and also.
Sure. So, in the initial days, what we thought is the first assumption what we had is the bigger hospitals are already sophisticated and very efficient. Is that after all you say get another meeting where he can exclusively meet us to do that. So it was not that challenging part of it. There the challenge what we used to face is when we talk about profit of 10% additional, the absolute money which they earn more is very high. But when I say I can save you like 10%, towards that, it was little not that attractive for them. And the nursing homes obviously, the doctors didn't have any professional. It's him, he does everything. Okay. So that was very challenging for them also. So how he used to see the pharmacy person is, the pharmacy person is in charge of supply management, he's in charge of payment management, he's in charge of drug inspector. They won't even say complaints. They will say if a drug inspector comes, he will take care. So that was the challenge. But at a concept level, it is very easy for people to understand. Okay, it's measurable. You are buying at 10 rupees, I will help you to buy at 8 rupees. One line they understood. And they ask, how do you do that? I say, I am going to work with 100 hospitals. Fine. More volume, I am going to get better. So, the value, selling the value is very, very easy. But practically making it happen was challenging. But luckily, it's obviously like, you start working with 20 bed, 25 bed, then you get one bigger client, you go there and all. Our biggest break came with one Beaver Hospital.
One what?
Beaver Hospital. So they had 10 polyclinics across 5 cities in Tamil Nadu. And then the COVID also happened. And that is where we moved from, we understood because they have raised funds and all. So we understood that for him the values is more important, the profit is more important than the cost is what we can give for them. Then we started working on that, like how do we do that? And all the other things evolved towards that. And one more problem all these hospitals have is there is a huge credit gap because more and more business is coming from the insurance and the government segment. Government easily takes like 160 days. 150 days, they easily take. Even private insurance, they take like anywhere between 30 days to 90 days, depending upon how efficiently they are, even the hospitals, right? So they are getting into longer periods with the suppliers. Right? So then this thing starts happening. So what we started doing is, we started a company who can do the supply chain finance. It's called Cafe, it's a fintech in healthcare. So that like we can help to bridge the gap and where we can leverage. That started happening. And what also we did is, we started working with a different segment of suppliers. Say for example, there are suppliers who don't have the operational bandwidth to work with the smaller hospitals. Typically, a couple of Marwaris, they will work only with the government contracts. They know how to work the government system, so they have huge product portfolio, volume discounts, etc. But they cannot come and work with smaller hospitals. We say, like, you take 2%, I will take care of all the operations are part of it. They were very happy to work with us. Okay, so that's how we started, because at that point it was a two-way platform. And it's always difficult to be great. Chicken comes first or egg comes first. So that we started doing. And what we also did is, we brought in Agarwal as a strategic investor. Okay, so Agarwal at that point of time had 100 crore of annual purchase volume. So once we had that volume, we were able to order more suppliers. So slowly, it started getting credibility. And what also happened is for the suppliers also, previously they used to bribe the pharmacy executive who puts the order, the accounts, who pass the bill, and the doctor, all that stuff. Once we started working, they don't need to worry about all those things. Okay. That started helping us to get more.
You formalized a more informal process.
Yeah. But it was not easy, we went through a lot of.
Geographically, where is your operation, sir?
So, obviously, since we started in Chennai, we have decent level of clientele in Chennai. But Hyderabad has been our most successful geography. So, in Hyderabad, what we observe is they are very, very open for changes and they are very aggressive. Okay? They want to experiment and all that stuff. So, almost now 80% of our clientele is based in Hyderabad towards that. And the next geography, what we are looking at, maybe I can also get feedback from you. Will Bangalore be a good geography? Okay. So Hyderabad, why they say this one? They are aggressive. When they say aggressive, they are very enterprising. The owners are very comfortable under control over the staff. These two things, if they are there, then it's a very good hub for us. So Bangalore is what? We are looking at experiment.
Just one more question. After that, I would like to hear from Gayatri about ideas like it. Yeah, the overall, the other initiatives that you are running, I would like to hear from you. But one more question.
So I'm just joining here, biases. Generally, Bombay is a good market for everything.
Sure. People have told.
Your meetings get over on time.
Okay.
The fellow has to catch his 5:45 train.
Okay.
So it happens and they move. Not for anything else, but generally I've seen most businesses, volumes are high, sensitivity to profit is high.
Okay. And the market is also very big.
Yeah, big
What
market.
number
Yes.
Okay, it can be a good thing for us.
I think you should try it there. Is what I
Okay.
feel.
But when you say that you have only focus on this, your other one will have outlets across India. So you are not considering that you are anyway geographically covering other parts of the country.
So, Agarwal, all our work, value proposition can be sold at the corporate level because they are very, very controlled. In the sense, the power of Agarwal brand is very big than the consultant. So, all the decision making happens here. So, when we work here, we are able to still generate that. So, otherwise, 200 locations in 34 cities, it's not possible for us to deliver. So, for us, it's as good as working with a single location hospital. Agarwal. If you work with Chennai, it kind of works.
So, Sarvanan, thank you. Good presentation. But I would like also to draw attention not only to his particular practice, but to the total segment. That's why I asked him what the particular 10 billion. I think it is a broad underestimate. Just to give you a comparison, United States, with 1/4 of India's population, the spend on what is called healthcare is published figures, verified figures, $4.5 trillion. That is what US spends. And 20% of US healthcare is manned by Indians. Doctors, pharmacists, we are very well entrenched into US healthcare. And the actual growth potential, because he is trying to introduce efficiency in a system which is traditionally inefficient and dominated by another system expert, which is doctors. Now, it's very difficult to walk into a doctor and to show that you are smarter than him.
Correct.
Because the doctor thinks he is God, and he is God as far as passions are concerned. But as far as money is concerned, he is not the God. I personally know of several hospitals where the front desk people who are just looking have skimmed off several lakhs and the doctor doesn't even know about it. and he finds out, and all he does is buys it. And it happens in the pharmacy and in the front desk. So the Indian spend on the total segment is also going to grow. It's not going to decrease for obvious reasons of operation. And plus our people are generally getting, if nothing else, more sicker, not more healthier. So we will spend on more. And there are so many drugs also.
If we do facts, I think we will take that later. We'll have Gayatri talk a little bit.
Sure.
And then we'll get over dinner, so that the dinner also time is there. So,
That's right.
Thank you, Saravanan. I want to thank Saravanan for very interactive. I think we should do this more often. I think, we are a larger crowd, this kind of interaction would have happened. I'm glad to hear all of you ask very pertinent questions, interesting questions.
So, just to what I would like to suggest is, one, I would like to share, what are the kind of certain inputs, specific inputs, like, what is the and all to you. So, you please advise on some of the things. And we can even make it as a part for any speaker to come ready. It's better that, we don't know many other things.
Yes.
So, we can always ask the audience to understand, what we should learn, what we should know, what we should be careful about the
That's
capital industry.
We are not tapped into the power of the community. Definitely we will do that in future. Yes.
Thanks.
Very inspired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Gayatri is the CEO of Ideas to IT. Thanks.
We topic here was not part of the agenda for today. For this group or me, I thought it would take 2-3 minutes to introduce myself properly. I'm the CEO of Ideas to IT. So the name itself defines, we take ideas that clients have and bring it to reality through technology. That's what it is. Just one quick example. Let's take Roche, which is a healthcare firm in the US. They focus on oncology. So when a patient is diagnosed with cancer, the group of oncologists come together and decide on the plan. It takes easily a few weeks to identify the exact plan for a person. Till then, they give cookie-cutter treatment, right? So they come to us and say, you leverage whatever data we have, you apply your robotic engineering skills, AI skills, data skills, come up with a software product which will help the oncologist decide on the exact plan for a person diagnosed with cancer pretty faster. That is a one-line requirement. So we work with them, understand it. So we are not only technology people, we have product people who understand healthcare, who understand how US healthcare operates and so on. Come up with the plan, then we develop the features and give it to them. Just one example, right? So if you see, so we have to understand healthcare, we have to understand cloud-based product engineering, we need to understand all that. That gives the killer combination. So we go with that, we get the project. So that is a niche space that we operate in. So we do not compete with Accentures of the world or Infosys or HCL because this is very diverse. So we go narrow and attack and we win. That is one lesson that we have learned, right? So don't go and compete with the red ocean. Go, even in healthcare, we go to post-acute. Even in post-acute, we go narrow. So rather than going for a horizontal, at least for us, what we have learned a lot, which is really working in having such a good growth is go narrow, attack, not many competition is there. That's one for business. But for the other side, industry, obviously people spot this your gold mine, right? That's the goal. And once you develop people with this niche, obviously they do hotcakes, lot of people will be vying for them. So from day one, we ensure that we engage them, right? People who have joined us, we are 15 years old company, who joined us 15 years back, they are there with us. 14 years back, yes, they are there. 30, yes, they are there. So how we do is, even when the great acquisition was happening, when IT firms were using 25%, 30%, ours was hardly 1%, 2%. If it hits 2.5, we all become alert. Why is it that 2.5% of the people are doing? So the entire DNA is focused on keeping them very, very happy. It's not only compensation and benefit. Like Ideas to IT got a lot of branding by we gave 100 cars to 100 employees. But actually, what retains them internally is the complete mentoring and upskilling. Every day they learn something or the other. Right? Teaching technology, I would say, is the easiest. Teaching domain is the next, but teaching soft skills, leadership skills or negotiation or that is what is very tough to learn. That is what is very tough to teach also, right? The inner drive, the fire, keeping it up and live is what is very difficult. And I'll take just 1 minute, right? I'm coming from a family of 5 and very small village, Tiruvannamalai is where I was born. And I'm from a family setup where girls were not really meant to have their own career. Fortunately, I was focusing very much on academics, so I was a topper in 10th, plus 2, UG and whatnot. So someone or other helped, my father spent 10 minutes, he said, we're going to send her for PG and something like that, like many people really helped. And I got my first job and career set up and became a CEO. So my heart is there, and any boardroom, right? Last week we had a strategy workshop. Any boardroom I go in, I'm the only female there, right? So my heart is always there. I don't know, I'm there to share whatever I learn, but my heart is there to teach young girls in colleges, schools, anywhere. For them to learn and skills. I'm a hardcore tech person. I was in delivery for 20 years. But after, then I learned finance, I learned acquisition, I learned this, I learned that, right? Obviously, many people help. But there's no channel, right? I mean, you have some question, you don't know who to reach, you ask 10 people, he was sharing it. I asked 10 people, some people respond, some people do not, and all that. Having spent so much effort in getting all this, if someone is willing to learn, if someone has anything, obviously, that is my dream. We do have
our chapter.
so we do have this employee thing. The limited performers were there, and we are still self-funded because we identify a product idea that can be solved by technology. We split out a separate software for it. We bring in C-level people from outside. We are very good at it. We've learned a lot from our mistakes and we are improving. In that context also, we are having 1/3 of the company given to the employees. Right? 1/3 of the company is shared with the employees so that they also become performers. So they also contribute a lot more with a lot more ownership. That's what we are doing, right? That's the business journey. But the other journey, the heart-led journey is to equip as many people. See, when we see you, I was asking him like, what, he said he was doing consulting. So I asked, what would you help us? Would you help us with leadership training? So as we learn, I think we also should teach others, mainly that mentoring for women is very, very close to my heart. I go to colleges, I go to small entrepreneurial hubs and whatnot, and to mentor women to take up this, first of all, career, entrepreneurs, leadership, anything for that matter. Obviously, as you said, there are so many people who can help, but the way ladies, girls are brought up, right? Cities at least it's okay. You take tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 and all, it's very difficult, right? The way we are brought up. Right? When we were taken to movies, our parents were so, just 3 daughters and then 2 sons, don't talk loud. Keep silent so that no one will notice you, no one will observe, no one will comment, no one. Man, if you keep on telling, how will you go have the courage after 30 years to go in front of so many people and talk?
Yeah.
It becomes so difficult, what will he think, what will he think, what will, he was talking very well. You definitely will not, it cannot happen in a day's time.
Right.
You keep encouraging boys to do a lot of things, but naturally, see, it's not that they intentionally do, to put us down. They want us to be safe, protected, you do this, you don't do this. So I feel that should happen from every interaction. That's why while this was not in the agenda, I thought I would take 2 minutes of yours and.
What
share this.
percentage of your firm is females?
We are 17 now. 17%. 17%.
Some more you should get
some more in our chapter.
boys and girls.
We should get more.
Some of the topic that you talk about even boys require.
Matter of fact, let's share one thing about her level of empathy towards others is very, very high. And 2 years back, there was a big layoff thing happening in IT, right? Almost a million of people. She launched something called Pledge to Perform. So she created this thing to all the resources, and she was helping to retrain people who have lost their jobs. Almost 4,000 people got a better job. Because managers, people who are laid off, people who are man testing, those kind of good things, right? She put a man, she trained all of them. She started for India, but many people from US, they applied for that upskill program, and they got that. Her level of empathy is very high. So, and she does it for bots also.
So we will talk later on.
Yeah.
Because Tiruvannamalai, we've got a lot of things happening there. In fact, my part of Balamandir, we'll talk about it later. So
They work with young mothers.
yeah, my mothers and
Run a-
children and everything. So Tiruvannamalai, specifically, we got a lot of, we got about 120 children who we support. A lot of things as possible.
By the way, Saravanan has sponsored the second program of our alumni group. Thanks to him, I was able to do the election one. First one I did it in Gandhinagar Club,
Yes.
which was sponsored by one of my batchmates. I am incidentally DBC Rajan from 73 batch, and I noticed he was born in 75. I thought it's quite understandable.
I think Aniket will
Look at you and I thought you must
Yeah.
be
89. 89, 1989, 1980. Yeah.
If you born later than 97, please raise your hand.
He's 89.
Yeah, that's old enough.
97. Born in 1996.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll do a group picture.
You want a group photograph?